Okay, folks, welcome to episode 25 of Meet the Voter. It is April 3rd, 2016, Sunday night, 6 o'clock. And all our gang is not here, but the gang who is here, we've got Bob Phelan, also known as Republican Bob from Central Valley. He's our spin master and professional political consultant. And we got Jonathan Denwood from Carson City, who's breathing heavily into the mic right now. He's so excited. As he pulls back.
I'm away from the mic.
Okay. I'm giving you a hard time, Jonathan. Anyway,
Well,
Jonathan.
You've been peevy. That's what you've been.
Jonathan, I'm the one that edits, so anyway.
I've got the power. I'm a super delegate.
Yeah, super delegate. Jonathan Denwood, entrepreneur, tech business owner, and socialist Christian Democrat from Carson City, Reno, Nevada. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna pull you down, Jonathan, for a second, bring you back on. We're going to talk to Bob first, and he's going to give us a quick rundown on the Republican Party. Actually, we'll leave you both up here, but let's start right now, Bob. Tell us what's going on with the Republican Party right now and your candidate.
They're still trying to find any way to have anybody other than Trump or Cruz as our nominee. Because I don't even think they care for Kasich. I mean, Kasich is a waste of time. I don't even know why he's in the race. So they're going to try to take the race at a brokered convention, and I don't know who they're going to give it to. If they do, they lose all the Republicans that are pissed off at the party anyway, because this is an anti-establishment year, and we don't want an establishment candidate. So,
yeah, it's definitely so. I was listening to PBS. They're talking about the '64 election, and it was worse than it is now, apparently. Yeah. So anyway, driving on, tell us a little bit more what's going on with Trump. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions since you're the spin master. If you were Trump's consultant right now, what talking points would you give him? I know you give him some good ones. For example, what would you do about abortion? How would you tell him to approach that topic?
Discuss abortion. I mean, we want to make abortion, rare and safe for the woman, but it's no longer a political question. It's just now a woman's right to choose.
That's because of the law, but that's not the talking points you would give him. Let me recreate that. I forgot what was the Matt. He said something in the nature is.
Oh, he said if abortion is illegal, do you punish the woman? Well, if picking your nose is illegal, if she said picking their nose is illegal.
I'm Chris Matthews. You're Trump. We're going to act this. Okay. I'm Chris Matthews. If abortion were illegal, what would you do to the woman?
The first thing I wouldn't do is I would answer a hypothetical question. So thank you for asking, Chris. Next question.
I love it. Well, no. Answer the question. What would happen? I mean, how do you
hypotheticals? If my aunt had balls, should be my uncle. So what would I do then? What the hell's I got to do with anything?
So
a piece of shit. He's a Democrat. His wife's running for office.
Now I got to edit that.
Kick his ass, Chris. Okay. Shut up.
You can't. That's not what we're going to do to Chris. If you're Chris Matthews right now, okay, I'm going to come back with Chris.
Okay, Chris.
Okay, Bob. I mean, okay, Mr. Trump. How do you stand on abortion?
I'm pro-life.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
You don't know what pro-life means?
Now, I'm to ask the questions. I'm Chris Matthews, right?
Congratulations, Chris. Why don't you go get some donations for your wife's campaign? Another Democrat running. Hack. Get the hell out of here.
So that's your advice to Donald Trump.
My advice, you never answered the question. That's a stupid-ass question.
Hey, that's a hypothetical right now. No, here's what I would say. That's a hypothetical right now. Abortion is legal to some extent, and we have to follow the laws. But what I would do is, as we talked earlier, I do everything possible to make it that we do have the fewest number of abortions, that we help people, not hurt people.
Right. But we can make changes if we want to really get involved in the abortion issue on parental consent, parental notification, a ban on partial birth abortion. Let's end state funding of abortions and adoption tax credits. Let's strengthen the family.
Yeah. FYI, both you and I are pro-choice, pro-life, absolutely not pro-choice. Can't believe in
actually, I am pro-choice, but my choice is life. So what's the difference?
Right. But it is really interesting. Trump came back and forth about 4 or 5 times. Yeah. What it is he's got to get out.
None of Trumpsters don't give a crap about that. This is a cultural revolution. We don't give a damn about little policy things like that. We know it's a setup question, so we don't care.
Yeah, but he got caught, and it's going to hurt him.
It's not going to hurt him much. It's not. People forget about that.
He was about 50-50 up in Michigan. Yeah. Michigan's coming up next. Michigan, right? Tuesday.
He's going to be the nominee, and he's going to face Bernie. He's going to feel the burn. And in order to get rid of the burn, drink a lot of water and get a job. It's done.
So we're just doing the podcast right now. It's going to be short tonight for the podcast. We're going to go on and open it up for other folks to come in. So, Jonathan, representing Carson City. I understand you've been working so hard that your head is not into politics or you're getting burnt out from politics. But we've had some unusual things happen here in Nevada. After Hillary just won the caucus, she just lost the regional party meetings because her people didn't show up who were elected at the caucus. So Bernie is going to take a majority of the delegates here in Nevada.
Yeah, big surprise. I've been reading some blogs about what's going on. Shenanigans in southern Nevada. It's just typical Nevada, isn't it, Bill? This is not only on the Democratic side, but this is just typical Nevadan politics at its best on the Republican or the Democratic side. Nothing is straightforward in this state, is it, Bill?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm a couple of years in the state. What's that?
Nothing. I just love this. It's on undercut.com, and they got it from Angie Sullivan, who's one of the leading Bernie Democrats in southern Nevada, and she says, "We caught Hillary campaign cheating. We caught the Nevada Democratic Party's secretary cheating," said Angela Sullivan, another member of the Credential Committee for Clark County Democratic Convention. When it was all apparent Bernie started winning, they already turned up the heat.
Yep. So basically, down in Las Vegas, they moved the caucuses inside the casinos where the workers work. They register them that day, and then when they all have to come back together.
Yeah, they never came back.
Each precinct, caucuses are neat. You get
most of them never even really were there. Everybody knows what went on.
So they elected a precinct captain, each precinct captain. The problem is the precinct captain has to actually go and file a vote. So Hillary's people just didn't show up to file
the vote. Well, it never
votes.
really existed in the first place.
Unbelievable.
Well, I knew something was up.
Unbelievable.
I knew something was up when I went to vote. They said it was the biggest crowd they ever seen.
Yeah.
And 70% of them voted for Bernie Sanders. And Northern Nevada Democrats are an older crowd.
Yep.
And they're probably, in Democratic terms, more conservative. And when I heard the result, I knew something was going on. 2 and 2 wasn't making 4.
Yep. So anyway, that's what happened in Nevada. Now since I'm the Republican, we'll finish it up and we'll talk a little bit about the Nevada politics. I'm not really inside the Republican Central Committees or the GOP here, though I assist and help out in some of the nonprofits with some of their streaming video and websites. And actually, it would be nice to maybe bring Craig, you might know more than me, so I'm going to pause for a second and bring it up and see if you will help me out to make sure I am correct, and then we'll finish up the podcast. Craig, come on up. Okay, to finish up the podcast portion, we've got Craig on. This is crony politics at its best. Tell us, a lot of, even in the Republican Party here in Northern Nevada, we've had some issues. The executive committee resigned or was forced to resign or something happened. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with you guys. So tell us what's happening. You went to the convention here in Northern Nevada, and what's going to happen? Who's going to get the vote?
Who's going to get the vote? Well, there wasn't there. The delegates didn't get to vote on anything. So, there wasn't a vote, but the whole convention was an attempt to silence any opposition to the elected, cabal there. So they spent most, well, I'd say not most, all of the morning, the majority of the whole convention, just to sanction Gary Schmidt, who sued the party, because Gary ran. He was endorsed by the Carson County Republican Central Committee, right? Yeah. He was endorsed by them to run against Ben Kekeffer.
Right.
And because they just, Kekeffer is just he's an elitist.
So everyone knows we had this guy who'd never been in politics before, been in government his whole life, ran for office for assembly. And I've got an echo, but said he wasn't going to raise taxes, and immediately turned around and biggest tax increase going.
Yeah.
Pause for a second. So basically, Ben Kekeffer, he is the assemblyman to the South in Carson City who was elected, ran on no taxes, and then immediately voted for higher taxes, right?
So I can copy this.
Yeah, the thing about lawyers, what I see, is that they can always lie, and they're never lying.
He's not attorney, is he?
Always winning the case. So you never can trust them. Oh, it's just terrible.
Okay, let's focus back on this caucus. So you have the Republicans meet in the North and the South, right? And then they get together and they have 30 delegates, which will go back to the national convention, right?
Yeah, we know we can get 600. We can send 638 delegates to the Nevada state convention, and then out of those, 30 delegates to go back east, which doesn't even matter because
the precinct captains go forward who after the caucuses with those votes, and they take those votes and bring them forward, right? So it should Trump won here, right?
Yes, Trump won here.
But what happened, like, was it 8 years ago or 4 years ago? Maybe 4 years ago, you had the Libertarians actually won overall, yet they didn't get the representation, right? Something happened. I wasn't anyway.
Oh, the Ron Paul
Ron Paul actually won in the caucus.
Down, so Ron Paul wouldn't get the nomination.
Oh, that's okay.
Crazy. Yeah, that was and that's the establishment doing what they want to do.
Yeah, and I can see
amazing.
It's amazing to watch.
So basically, here the same thing I see, is that the establishment, doesn't want the grassroots being able to participate. I mean, the Central Committee only has 4 meetings a year, and it's basically just to ratify what the Executive Committee has done in 3 months, every 3 months. So the Executive Committee does everything.
Can I actually intervene, Craig? Because my ex-wife was. I'm not going to mention names because my ex-wife used to use a pre-married name. But she was reasonably high up in the Republican Party, and I used to have to go to all the stuff at the governor's house before the present governor, the Gibbs. I was there when Gibbons got kicked out, and I don't really understand why anybody's surprised about this. The Northern Republican Party is the most dysfunctional, spiteful organization I have ever seen in my 50 years on this planet.
Yeah,
they despise one another. They despise one another more than they despise the Democratic Party.
With that, I'm going to finish up the podcast. We're going to continue on, but all I'm going to say that if you're an elected official, and Bob maybe can tune in with his background, if you want to be elected official, say hi, be nice to the parties on all sides, but don't ask them for any help at all. Just do it yourself with your own campaign and be your own person.
Yeah. Parties are worthless. I mean, those little central committees, all they want is money from the electeds.
Yeah.
They're not actually raising any money. So then what's your purpose? Your purpose is to get Republicans elected. Go raise some money and shut the hell up.
Their purpose is.
Well, that's not true, Bob. I mean, the Republican Party here, raised $38,000 this year, 40, 50s, 80,000. I don't know what the total figure was. I'd have to,
and then they
go back and add up all the.
But then they spend a lot of it. They do raise a lot of money here, Bob. For some reason, they got a lot of wealthy retired people.
So, Craig,
they keep an office 365 days a year, and they spend a lot of money too.
Well,
so, Craig, what's happening with that witch Angle? Is she coming back on a broom?
Okay.
Yeah, Sharon Angle, she spoke yesterday and said that she was back in the race against.
She's been up from the north and come back on a broom, has she?
Okay, Bob. Okay, we'll talk about this race next week. How's that?
Oh, what the heck!
I'm going to try to interview some people, so I got to be neutral. You'll have to see because I haven't seen how many people signed up. All right, thank you. Stay on the line, everybody. You can click in about whatever. I'll go back and figure out what time it is, but you'll be able to watch the rest of us discuss on Blab whatever we're going to talk about here. It's crazy. It's dysfunctional right now. Crazy. You can hear my dog going nuts.
Yeah,
wave, everybody. Wave for the YouTube. Wave for the. No, well, you don't have to wave because it's a podcast.
No.
So the great thing about the convention
is your dog a Trump supporter?
Great platform.
I can hear like my daughter talking. I need to shut this door.
Bernie.
In California, the central committees are basically they suck money from the electeds. They always want to sell the tables to Lincoln Day dinners, and we have 11 counties, and so we have 11 central committees coming at us for money. And unfortunately, you have a lot of older folks there who really don't like to contribute much. They sure don't do any walking. Phone calls are really to the point now where people get so annoyed when the phone call comes into their house. So there's not really a good way of contacting a lot of the voters. But
you want to hear a funny story, Bob? You want to hear a funny story? I got dragged to the Lincoln Party.
Lincoln Day dinner.
When Lincoln dinner, when Gibson was kind of finished. And it was like whistling. It was like whistling leaves. He said he did this. He was supposed to raise some money where you could take a picture with the governor, and nobody would take a picture.
Yeah.
He went out for half an hour. Nobody would have a picture.
When I went back to in '96, when I got the nomination for Congress. Running against Conrad, Gibson was in my class. I got to meet him. We were talking to each other. Gibson.
I got assaulted by my ex-wife there. Actually, I had the witch angle approached me, slithered near to me, and started wanting to have a discussion with me. And she didn't appreciate my English humour. We wasn't registering because there isn't actually much going on between her two ears, really. And she didn't appreciate my humour. My wife actually elbowed me in the ribs quite severely, actually.
She did win the nomination.
Sound like a good move. Yeah.
I should have sued her.
Fun.
She won the nomination.
Yeah, it just shows you, but, there we go.
She won the nomination.
So Engel's running against Heck, right? Is that what it is?
Heck, yeah. But there's other people running too.
There's like 4 or 5 people.
Tell you what, if you're going to beat Heck, is probably the establishment candidate from the Republicans.
Charming man.
So a little bit of money, you could take him out, even though
he's not taking him out. He's got $2 million. He's going to win the damn thing. Get over it.
He's going to get a lot.
I don't think he's that bad. I mean, he's
the super PACs. The super PACs have been putting a lot of ads up for him, but you can't. And I'm just saying, whether it's good or bad, in this kind of cycle, someone with a little bit of talent can actually take somebody like him out.
I think Gibson was near the lowest. But what was the name of that senator, the vet that was screwing everybody around him? Literally,
is this Nevada?
Yeah, what's his name? The senator that had to resign.
Oh, I remember. I think that. How long ago did that happen?
You know his name, Craig. I bet him a couple of times.
They get a lot of resignations up here.
The name's not coming to me.
You won't believe this. A guy gave up. Right. A guy elected assembly member gave up his seat on assembly so he could run for city council in Reno.
Does Reno pay more money?
It must pay more money.
Reno pays $150,000 or something.
No. I think just the base city council was $65,000, which is not bad. They're not doing more than they do in Modesto.
Then that's what you should be aiming for, Bill.
It's an easy seat. I mean,
$65,000 for nothing. Literally.
You don't meet that many times. Well, when I was on city council in Modesto, I worked at least 30 hours a week, if not more.
And you won't have to do that in Reno.
You did that because you wanted to do that.
And we get $800 a month. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Later on.
But you do in the Nevada legislature. You work there because you want to.
Oh, yeah. So it's a traditional. It's
because it only pays $3,000 a year.
Not well. It's a they get when they're in session. They get so much. It's not very much. It's a citizen legislature, and they only
some kind of per diem.
Per diem, yeah.
And they make it up from all the backhanders from the.
They can't do that, but I don't know what they're. The biggest thing about politics is your.
I saw these. I won't mention names. I'll give you another little story. I can't be too precise because I'm going to get in some real trouble here. One of the power brokers in the Republican Party. He's a pretty sharp cookie, and he's a senator. And I saw him muscling a younger senator. And I actually saw him in operation, actually muscling a junior senator in the Republic, and it was an art form seeing how he was putting pressure on this junior senator. It was quite entertaining, actually. I saw
politics works.
I saw that in operation.
But Bill, you keep mentioning
I wish that was caught on camera because I would love to you know, the guy that did those abortion inside videos, he should go in. He should somehow. They got to get somebody to wear a camera into the legislature and see how those guys are pressured into.
Well, most of the time, only electeds get to be on the floor. No, you don't have people just walking in and out there. At least not in California. You have to have a reason for being there. But Bill keeps talking about this is a cultural war. We're having a cultural election.
Yeah, Bob is pretty good at figuring things out.
Nationwide, on the presidential, I don't think it's going to impact as much in the House races. I really don't. I think the anger is directed to the establishment, to the building, to the people there, Washington.
I hope that proves out in the primaries here. I hope you get a bunch of anti-establishment candidates in these primaries across the country. But I think the presidential race has, at least in Nevada, you know, we don't even know who's running because we've been so focused on the presidential thing. And that's the real trick. That's the New World Order scam right there.
I think it's going to be tougher.
Race.
Well, that always happens. I think it's going to be tougher for Republicans to win this cycle because we have a recreational marijuana vote coming up, which is going to draw more young people to vote.
No, they'll be smoking their medicinal marijuana. They won't even find the damn polls. Don't worry about them, Bill. They're not going to be.
That's true.
Yeah, they're bald.
I think that's true.
What do you think it's going to pass?
I think that's a bit biased because you're old fascist geezer, aren't you? So.
What you got against fascism? It's a good thing. You know, you've got a guy who's a socialist who's not worth the damn, promising everything, and you think he's great. I don't get it. Why don't people who think like him go to these great socialist countries? Get the hell out of here. Don't change us. We don't want to be like them. They suck.
Well, that's what you think.
People suck over there.
That's what you think. But I've got a feeling extra are going to go my way.
A $3 hooker on New Year's.
The electric's going to go my way, Bob.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Great Britain has the highest cancer death rate in the entire modern world.
Yeah.
The highest.
So what does that prove?
That proves that socialism doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, like I said, I think we're going to go to the fact we're going to have our borders. You know, look at what happens if you cross.
I love when you get a bit of the imperial data, which can and you manipulate that for your self-bias to come with a logical outcome.
Oh, and you don't?
I just love it. I just love it, Craig. I really love it. I love when you take a little bit of isolated data, extrapolate it. Totally freaking distort it to get your outcome that you want. I gotta admire the intellectualism through that little piece of maneuvering.
It's you enlightened people that got this country so screwed up because you think you know so much that just isn't true. And it's just the arrogance and your aloofness that talks to the guy like me, blue collar, says, fuck you. We don't care about you guys.
You're no blue collar. Don't give me that rubbish. You're brighter than me. I'm blue collar. You must think I'm falling off.
You want to get face-to-face off a Christmas.
You must think I'm falling off. You must think I'm falling off.
Right now, for God's sake, man. Make it happen.
Blue collar. You're as much blue collar than I am.
You're interrupting my cooking here.
You know, I'd love to be at a Bernie rally or come to a Trump rally because I'd knock the shit out of somebody. I'd be arrested. I don't give a damn. I'm an old guy. Don't matter.
Bloody political checknick. You're a professional politician. You've been that way for your bloody
I'm a blue-collar Republican. I'm a blue-collar Republican. Sick and tired of this bullshit going on in Washington.
You're part of the political establishment. You're nothing outside. You make your living from politics.
I'm a worthless piece of shit, but it's okay.
And we got to get Nick on.
You make your living from politics.
Hey, back to the real world. What is the penalty if you go from the United States across the border in Mexico? You know what the penalty is?
They probably shoot them.
Yeah, I know.
2 to 10 years imprisonment.
I know. It's terrible. Their immigration.
Well, they have a lot of people come from the south and the southern borders in Mexico.
No, crossing from the United States
but the other
into
direction,
Mexico.
they have weird.
The Canadians give you 20 years.
It's 2 to 10 years. Let's build that damn wall. Let's kill that ISIS.
That's true. Actually, build it.
Let's tell Bernie and all these little weenies to go get a job, for God's sake, man.
Yeah,
become a producer, not just a sucker on the teat of America. Do something. I love it.
Yeah, but actually, get back to Canadians. What most people do
is the Canadians. We don't give a damn about them. Let them stay up there. We don't care about them at all.
No, I was saying if you want,
anyway, they don't know what
if
they want to
you're
do.
American, you want to get a job in Canada. It's practically.
I don't want to go to Canada. Shit, what the hell do I want to go to Canada for God's sake? They play hockey. A bunch of Canucks up there. They got no. Who cares? They don't even have real sports.
Hey, you didn't do a very good job on Trump's talking points.
I don't care about Trump's because Bill, people like me don't give a damn.
Well, you're fascist. Unfortunately, 50%.
Honestly,
unfortunately, Bob, 50% of the electorate's women, and I do care about that issue.
Bob's a real spin master.
It's just a slight problem there for him.
Women are going to turn out for Trump.
Yeah,
turn out for Trump. So
Bob, you're a spin master.
He's about jobs. They give a damn about ISIS. Bob, they will turn out for Trump.
Bob, you're a real spin master. Like education brings the cycle of poverty. What? Give me some spin for Trump and women. What's he going to do?
Well, he's going to make the country safer. He's going to put borders up there. He's going to bring jobs back. Women make up almost more in the workforce than men. It strengthens the family. Those are the three issues he's going to run on, or what he is running on. This other crap, nobody cares about it.
Yeah,
we don't.
I think one of the fundamental problems for Mr. Trump is that when it gets to the convention, in all fairness to the convention, its real purpose is to find a candidate that will win the election.
No,
actually,
John McCain,
Bob
Dole.
Come on. I actually disagree with you there.
They weren't going to win. They want to keep things in place. It's all about positions and jobs in Washington, D.C. throughout the country.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. But officially, its purpose is to find the best candidate that will win the election. Unfortunately, Mr. Trump keeps coming out with his endless. I think the best advice that anybody handling Mr. Trump could give, it's time to keep as quiet as possible and consolidate your lead and don't mess it up as much as he's done this week.
He hasn't had a good week. Like I said, I'm not watching political shows because I know what their purpose is. Their purpose is to destroy Trump. So why should I waste my time watching it?
Well, I don't really know how you can say that. It wasn't for the media. It wasn't for the media circus which he generated and he cultivated, that he wouldn't be in the position that he's in now. So I don't quite follow that.
You can say it's a circus. It's the issues. It's still the issues of border, ISIS, and jobs.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I do agree with you. I'm not, I disagree with you on the border, but I do agree with you that Why
do you disagree on the border?
Because I agree that you've got to have sensible and better. I'm looking for the right words here. You got to have a much better immigration system, and you can't let anybody come in illegally. But the idea of building a 35-foot wall is substantially going to stop these people from coming in. They're just going to dig tunnels, go around the ocean, or fly in.
And you punish them.
Pardon?
You put them in prison. You actually just don't send them free. Let them free.
Well, no. What you do, actually, Bob, is that you
kick them the hell out.
You make it very difficult to employ them. And then
they used to do that. They don't do that now.
And the employers that employ them should not only be fined; they should go to prison, and should be made an example.
If they do it intentionally, yes. If they do it intentionally, just to basically being able to pay them a lower wage or something like that, going out to a contractor, yeah, they should. But we shouldn't be bringing people in this country where people like at Disneyland. They have to train the guys.
Bob, if they knew they couldn't get any kind of employment, they wouldn't bother.
Or benefits,
so,
welfare benefits.
What's happening right now? I haven't caught up to it, but the illegals out of Mexico who come up here and work, they get a fake driver's license and fake ID. Right? That's all they do basically. You do an I-9, you can't challenge it, right?
In California, you get a driver's license, and they want to pay everybody $15 an hour for, excuse me, sir, would you like?
We forgot about that. California got $15 going up to $15 for minimum wage.
Well, no, it's going to take 8 years to be honest. It'll take 8 years. It's going to take to get there.
That's still a lot of money for fast food.
Yeah, Jonathan, where have the last 50 years gone in your life? 4 years, 5 years is nothing. Gone like that.
I know.
It'd be gone just like that. And the whole thing is, people think that these guys are doing it for the fact that they love these minimum wage guys. They want to help the working guy. It's all about the 7.65 on both sides per every dollar that you pay in employment taxes. So if you raise it $5 per hour, it means that you're going to get, 15.3 cents per dollar, which means you're going to generate 76.5 cents more for the government. It's all about the money. They're going to say, we're doing this for you because we give a shit about you. Baloney. It's about money going to the government. That's all it is.
I remember my
all
matching
government
taxes
do is
were
confiscate and redistribute. That's all they could do. And then you look at a guy like Bernie. God, man, give a job for Christ's sake. Let him flip burgers or whatever for at least a week so he knows what it's like to actually have a job.
Bernie.
He's not going to cut it. When people start looking at what it's going to cost, he's an idiot. Sorry. You can only give away so many rainbows and unicorns with my money.
I really care what you're into. You're not exactly. You're not exactly the most unbiased observer, are you?
You're a guy who's afraid to say no to anybody. You want everybody to say, "I'm a wonderful guy. I want to give you everything. Here's unicorns, here rainbow." The real life is hard, and you really have to work hard at making success of yourself. And if these people don't want to work, they want a job, but they don't want to work. To them, work is a 4-letter word, and they don't have nothing to do with it. And I think you should make on welfare or any benefits you get as far as food stamps.
See, you see, off you go again with this hatred that you have, that you spout on this conversation week in and week out.
If a fact is a fact, is there anybody
that you like? Is there anybody
like me who pull the wagon? And I like those who have to sit in the back because they can't do it themselves. Let them sit in the back. I'll help pull them. But for those who don't want to do a damn thing except get themselves smoked up on your medicinal marijuana, and then they can't get a job because they can't pass a drug test, who's going to insure some guy that's walking down the street smoking weed said, "Go ahead, drive my truck and make deliveries"? You're not going to do it. It's asinine.
Well, it's no different if they were alcoholic. The biggest drug problem in this country is alcohol. But we tried to ban it, and it was a total disaster.
And until the Kennedys got it, they made all their damn money. Another Democrat crime family.
There's plenty of Republican families. Look at the George Bushes.
It is what it is.
But fundamentally, and I just want to point out the obvious to you, Bob. Yeah, of course you're right. Of course there's loads of lazy people. Of course there's loads of people with no ambition. Of course there's loads of people that just want to earn the minimum and not really do much work.
Right.
But who are they? Who are the real losers? You've only got one life, Bob. You're not coming back again. So who are they really ripping off? I would tell you they're ripping off. They're ripping off themselves.
Okay, but see, you have to remember those people who are ripping off themselves.
They're dumb and unambitious. Why does it rub you up so much, Bob?
What, that I should work and pay for somebody else not to work? Or what?
They're not. Don't come out. There's something deeper than that gets you going. And the only people they're really cheating, they've only got one life, and they're pissing it away. Who's the biggest fool? Them.
Yeah, they are. But the biggest fools are voting.
You come out
for fools who promise them everything.
You come out with this week in, week out. You do.
And you like the fact that a bigger fool has promised them everything. Don't worry about working. I'll take care of you. That's what government. Do you want to be free from? Do you want to be free or not?
Because you never get rid of them. Because I accept for what they are, and I want a society. I want a society that
charity with your dollars. You do all you want.
I want a society that has standards. And if people have no ambition and want to fool themselves, I've realised that the people they're really fooling are themselves.
So should we take care of those people who are fooling themselves?
Yes, because if you want to be,
that's asinine. See,
that's where we fundamentally
because you feel good giving away my stuff. I say give away all the shit that you have. Give it away. That's your right. But don't tell me what I have to give away to you or to the people that you like.
Well, unfortunately, that's why we got a democratic system, and we will confront one another over the ballot point. And unfortunately, I've got news for you. You're Mr. Trump is if he does become, what I personally feel is going to happen. It's a bit way out, but this is how I see it panning out, Bill, is when it comes to the Republican convention, they're going to do the dirty on him. They're going to find some candidate, and he won't accept it, nor should he accept it, and he will run as a third party candidate. No. He is going to run as a third party candidate. And you know what's going to happen? The same thing's going to happen in the Democratic Party, because I think people have really underestimated Bernie Sanders. He's a cute old fox of a politician, he knew he couldn't get the traction by running as an independent, so he's not really a Democrat. It's
like libertarians,
and he joined the party. He joined the and he's in striking distance. Everybody knows in the Democratic Party that Hillary Clinton, against a decent Republican candidate, cannot win. She's a has-been of the highest order. So what's going to happen is they're going to do the same thing as what the Republican Party is going to do with Mr. Trump. They're going to do the dirty on Bernie Sanders. They're going to and he's going to run as an independent. Last month, he generated.
When do they have to file for being independent?
He generated $40 million last month, Bill. His war chest is growing by the month. He will have the money, the support, the traction to go and be a true independent candidate.
The hardest part would be getting on the ballot in 50 states.
Yeah.
It will be, but you need money, and he's getting $40 million a month.
But you also need time. I mean, this is going to happen till when of the convention? June?
I don't think Nevada, it's too hard to get on the ballot. In fact, are we already passed?
Nobody cares about Nevada.
Let me find out when you have to get
They're not the kingmakers. It's not going to happen. Nevada is not going to pick the president. You'll be one of them, but you're not going to be the one that has the.
No, I'm just saying to file a run for president.
Huh?
I mean, it varies from state to state.
So, what do you reckon on the Republican? When it comes to the Congress, I don't see Mr. Trump just sitting there and put up being shafted by him. I don't think he doesn't strike me as the kind of character that will put up with them shafting him. And
that's why he went to that convention and just call it a day. He just went to that convention and call it a day. Trump is going to be the nominee.
You still think so?
And he's still going to go with borders, which I know you don't care about. He's going to go against ISIS.
I don't care about borders. Actually, I just don't think
nobody needs a job anyway. Should they get a job?
Well, no, people do need but you can't. If people want to fool themselves and waste their total life in a self-delusion, I've seen it in London. So you want
to facilitate it. You don't want to say no tough love, no nothing. Get off your butt and get to work. No work.
No, actually, I actually, and Bill knows this, I actually, apart from the mentally and the severely physically handicapped, I actually think everybody else should be made to do work of some kind.
That's not freedom. The government forces people to have a job. That's not freedom.
Oh, my God. It's the closest thing to communism I've ever heard of.
Well, if they can't find a job themselves and they want to be supported, there's plenty of work to be done, Bill.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're having government make the work.
Yeah.
So and then they hardly work. They get paid.
Well, to me, if you're government and you're going to pay these guys for not working, you pay them for working. The money they're going to pay you, go outside and you sweep up in front of your house.
Or you don't get it. Yeah, whatever. I agree with that, but you don't force people to work.
Yeah. No, well, you do not force them anything. If they want the state to support them, we've got the right. There's plenty of community work that needs to be done.
I guess that would be a better way to base, so that way people are taken care of.
Yeah, that's what I believe. So it's not see, my position isn't what you make out. It's not about just letting people take benefit and contribute nothing to the community. It's totally opposite. And you keep this old record playing week after week after week. And
it's still the same song and it's still the same truth. The bottom line is there is not a government program for these people to go and do that job. So you're talking about a program that might be invented down the road. I'm talking about reality, talking about today. Today, they're receiving benefits of doing nothing to receive the benefits.
They wouldn't be doing anything if I was running the system.
And if my aunt had huevos, she'd be my uncle. That's got nothing to do with nothing. Reality is reality. Right now, they are suckling on the system, and there are still 93 million Americans who cannot find a job in this country who want to work. And we're allowing illegals to come in here, which is impacting the African-American community the most because they're driving wages down. And that's the one thing I think with Trump, you say, women aren't going to like him. Blacks aren't going to like him. The bottom line is who he would benefit most would be the African-American community by allowing people and putting them back to work. And that's what we need to do. We need to take the value of work, not the value of sitting on your ass and have someone take care of you.
Well, fundamentally, I don't fundamentally disagree. What I disagree with you is your language and your candidate's language.
Right, because you put all the focus on that, not on the reality. It's the way things are.
Actually, instead of this bravado and this language just rubs people up the wrong way, I would actually do something about the immigration situation.
Please,
go
to work.
Actually do something instead of just coming out with wild statements about 35 and getting the Mexican government. The freaking Mexican government ain't going to build that wall. I'll become a Dutchman before they're going to pay for that wall.
You'll be a Dutchman, and I'm going to buy your wooden freaking shoes because they're going to be putting that stinking wall up there, whether we cut back the monies we're giving them or whether we do it just like old Reagan put a couple of tariffs on some folks. We're going to screw these guys. The bottom line, they've been screwing us, and it's just a matter of time. You lay back and enjoy it, or you can stand up and fight.
Yeah,
and right now, the white people in this country and those who want to succeed are fighting. We're not going to lay down. We're not going to take any more of this bullshit.
Bob, what will we do with our Hershey's
We
bar?
are in the cultural revolution. This is a culture war.
Bob, how about our Hershey's bars?
I love Hershey bars.
You know what? We used to have the Hershey's.
Save themselves money.
We used to have the Hershey's bar capital right where we lived. One of them on the West Coast.
What did they do?
They went to Mexico because you know what though? Because of special interest with sugar in the United States and sugar cane.
Yeah.
Cost of sugar is cheaper. They could produce it down in Mexico because of sugar. They don't pay all the whatever it is in the special interest. Something about sugar. You had to go to Mexico to
price of sugar. It costs about half down there what it does here.
Yeah. And there's something to do out of Florida, some special interest out of Florida.
Like I said, you look at the way this country's going, and
a
lot of us
surely you can see that if you put in proper fines, imprisonment for employing non-immigrants, and you put in a proper identification system, and you made it, you get a fine the first time, you get a bigger fine the third time, you're going to prison if you keep employing these people. If you had proper punishment for employing these illegal people, they wouldn't bloody come here.
So they don't come here and they don't get employment, but they do gangs, they do drugs.
They get kicked out straight away.
No, they don't. That one guy.
Well, they would do if I was running it. They get their ass kicked out straight away.
You've got sanctuary cities like San Francisco.
Why did the border agents support Trump? Because right now, basically, we catch and release. We catch them and say, okay, here, show up in court. They don't show up in court. We're asinine. We need to just kick their ass the hell back across it, and we need to make sure we have that wall down and say, no, you don't have a border, you don't have a country.
You won't answer my point. Why do you need a 35 bloody foot wall if there's no bloody employment here? And when you do get hold of them, you send them back to their country or origin.
So those who come over aren't coming over here to get a job. They're coming over here to...
don't give me... Please don't insult my intelligence by coming out with that statement. Of course they come here to make money and get a job.
Not everybody's coming over here.
For God's sake, don't insult my intelligence by coming out with that.
That's Obama. Jonathan, what it is, Obama basically has the catch and release back in place.
Yes.
The whole administration.
Yes.
When you come out with a statement like that, Bob, it's an insult to my intelligence. Of course they're coming here to get a job and make money.
Okay, so these guys, let me ask you, these guys who have these tattoos all across their face that say, I'm going to kill you, stupid son of a bitch. They're coming here for a job? These are gangbangers.
You're taking, and I don't know the percentage of those type of
LA and California has
you take a small percentage of criminality that should be kicked out the country straight away.
They should be, but they're not.
Rounded up and sent back straight away wherever they came from on the first plane available. And you're utilising that for supporting your ridiculous previous statement. I would say 95% of the illegal immigrants that come to this country come here to make money.
Right.
And
Or
if
to get on a
they
government
can't
program
get
or
a bloody job, they wouldn't come here. And it's obvious, but you won't have it because you're so biased and so
your ass is biased.
you're
My
so
ass.
blinkered.
What
You
I
won't even
see
accept
is
a
my reality,
logical
you call it bias.
argument.
What I see as my reality, you call a bias. Now, I can't help with the fact you can't see it. It's your ignorance because you can't see it. I live with this stuff. I see what's going on in the state of California. I see the gangbangers. I look at that stuff. I see people coming over here and getting benefits. I see people who've never worked a day in their life coming over to get Social Security, for Christ's sake. They're coming over here for the benefit. It's the honey that attracts the bee. And they're coming over here. And you just say, oh, come on in, the bees. Come on in, bees. The bottom line is
I never said that too, actually. I never said that in one moment because you don't listen to what I say. Basically, I would kick them out as quick as possible as well.
But they're not kicking them out.
They'd be on the first plane out as well with the credibles.
They are not kicking them out.
If I was running Fins, they'd be on the first plane out.
They're not kicking them out. So what do you do if they're not kicking them out?
Under my I don't. Well, obviously, it's fantasy because I will never be in a position to do anything. But all I can honestly tell you, if I was running Finn, they'd be on the first plane out.
Right. And well, they should be. But Democrats don't want that. Democrats want the votes. They always want people dependent upon government, which means they're dependent upon them. Do you at least acknowledge that fact, or am I just in another world?
How would you
I think I agree with you. That it's obvious in the heart of the democratic establishment, this kind of evil, terrible attitude. I would imagine you are correct. My only observation of the Democratic Party in California, in Chicago, where they've been in power for almost ever, and power corrupts, and total power totally corrupts. Right. And because they haven't got the threat of being kicked out, they've become totally corrupt. But I've got to tell you, if it was the same situation is found in Republican areas where they feel that they've been in power for 40, 50, 60 years, they become totally corrupt. Because like I say, power corrupts and total power totally corrupts.
We have Chicago, we have Detroit. Give me an example of where Republicans running an area for 40, 60 years, it's as corrupt as that. Give me an example.
Texas.
Texas what? That's Texas what?
Well, it's the state of Texas. It's been in Republican hands for a long time. It's a totally corrupt state.
Just by saying it doesn't make it corrupt. What's corrupt about it?
Well, you don't need to. That's where the Bushes live, and look how they operate, and that's where they choose to be the centre of their political establishment. That's all you need to know.
People are moving to Texas because of job growth and the fact that they feel that there's freedom there. You don't see the things cities run down like you have in Chicago, where the Democrats actually control it for 40, 50 years. You see the school districts out in the big cities. They're not educating our children at all. They're not educating their children at all. So what are you doing with that? You have a group of kids that come through high school who don't get disciplined. They don't get educated, and they get put out to workforce, and there's no jobs for them to have. What is that creating? More, again, dependency upon government. That's the biggest thing. I talk about we need to make sure everybody has an opportunity. Now, someone like yourself, you deserve a higher wage because you have more intelligence, more traits, more abilities than someone who doesn't have a trait at all. And I look at what's going on there. These guys they're unemployable when they come out of high school. So what do you do with them? What?
But the thing is, you're placing, and I'm not saying you're totally incorrect. My observation of the attitudes in Chicago, in urban cities. But there's other factors. There's other factors that those areas tended to be highly based on traditional industries. And let's be frank about
those
it.
are all gone.
And the Republican Party with the Clintons, the Clintons and their fraction chose to vote for trade policies and other policies that they knew would take most of the industry out of those areas.
So then you agree with Mr. Trump's trade policy, bringing jobs back to America?
Well, he says a good it's a good tagline, and he talks about tariffs. How on earth he's going to get a establishment Senate and Congress to go along with that view, I have no idea.
This is a culture war. This is a people's revolution. It really is on both sides, Republicans and Democrats. We're fed up. We're just fed up with the fact the way things are going in Washington. Both sides, all they care about is the establishment, is themselves. And it's about time we just grabbed it by the root, throw those things out. They need to go. They really need to go. And there's this, I think, Trump, no matter what you say about him, I guarantee he will shake things up. No doubt about that.
Well, I don't.
Even Bernie would shake things up in another way.
I don't disagree with you, but what I strongly disagree with you, and I think you've insulted my intelligence, is when you won't accept that 95% of the immigration problem can be dealt not with a 35-foot bloody wall, but making sure most of these illegals can't get a frigging job here. And when they do illegal stuff and they haven't got a job for 6 months, they're asked to leave like any other country with a proper immigration policy.
The thing is, Bob, I'm sure this is somewhat true. The Republicans in Central Valley and the Democrats, for that part, don't want to stop the flood of labor for the.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't. It suits their purpose, doesn't it, Bill?
Right.
They're the cause of this immigration problem.
It's not one of the big.
They employ the buggers. They should be fined and kicked in prison.
It's not a high priority. Where it's a high priority is among the working people of the United States and California.
Yeah. In the state of California now, so are they gonna be paying this? I don't even know if agriculture comes under this $15 an hour thing. I don't know if it's governed by that.
They'll probably they have some two different labels. Yeah, that'll really drive up costs.
Well, without a doubt, it's a drive up costs.
A lot of people though make more than that because they do the piece work where they get the base wage plus production. Some people work hard.
Well, I've got absolutely no problem if you had a logical system and the farmer could prove in some way that he had made some reasonable attempt to employ Americans and not being able to do it. I've got absolutely no problem with a properly regulated
program
allowing labour to enter America, as long as it's made clear that they've got to go back. They're going to go back to Mexico.
But that's probably not coming back. People are overstaying their green cards. And this is where, for those who say the Americans are too good for these jobs, like I said, they need to be out there doing the jobs. They need to be out there. Employ them. Yeah. Look at what's going on in our society. Here you have shows like My 600-Pound Wife.
Is that really a show?
Oh, God, yes. Wow. And you have people that basically they eat themselves into a disability, and then they say, look at me, poor me. What kind of a society is that? It's asinine. We need to make people be responsible for their own.
I'll get back to you. I'm not making an excuse for them, Bob. I'm just saying to you, who are the biggest losers? They've only got one frigging life. They're not coming back again.
Right, but we all only have one friggin' life. So why should any of us work? Why should we just sit here and just let people take care of us?
Because it's the media, and the media are obsessed with extremes. They find these mentally ill people that go up to 600 pounds, or people that actually have got their pockets.
Hillary, what are you watching?
Who's talking?
How'd you do that?
There's a voice from the ether.
I just wish that we did have our borders and do things the right way. And let's make sure, like I said, we do need more.
It's not jet science. I can tell you, Australia.
This country.
I can tell you. I'm not saying it's perfect. And
that's me. Is that me?
I'm not saying it's perfect, Bob.
No.
But Australia, New Zealand, Canada, they have immigration systems that semi-work.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is between Canada's and ours, except for the fact maybe location, people coming across our borders, so there's more opportunities here. I don't know. But we do need to implement our border security.
It's been an hour. I'm going to pause the recording.
The Mexican immigration system works. Maybe we should adopt theirs.
Everybody stay on. I'm going to pause, and then we're going to finish the recording. Quiet. Okay. Say goodbye to everybody. Bye. And then we'll stay on for a second. I want to show you some stuff. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
I'm watching the Warriors game too. The important things in life.
Watch this. Bye. Wave.